Thanks, everybody, for being here. This is a big day in our franchise's history. It's a blockbuster trade. We're sending 3 players who have been a big part of what we've been doing the last 3 years, who have been developing and getting better and growing before our eyes, to Boston for 2 guys that one guy that we know is going to help us a lot right away, Rajon Rondo, and Dwight Powell, a guy who we had in for draft workouts last year, who we really liked in the draft, and a guy that they did not want to give up. So we're very excited. I feel like Rajon is a guy that impacts the game in so many different ways. He's a very intelligent player. He's a very experienced player. He's a multiple all-star. And so a guy like that would fit into any team extraordinarily well, and I know he'll fit in well here. So we're thrilled. Mark, Donnie?
Okay, nothing to add to that. Well done.
Okay.
So I'll let these guys say something. Well, let's see if you guys got anything? Yeah, Rajon, go ahead. So what's on your mind?
Well, obviously, I'm very excited to be here. Coming from a great situation in Boston, and very thankful for all the things they did for me and the fan base. But I'm ready to start a new chapter here as a Dallas Maverick, and I'm very excited to be here.
Dwight, go ahead.
Similar to Rondo, I mean, very excited to be here. Obviously, I'm a young player, being in my career, and I've moved around a little bit, but hoping to stay here for as long as I can, and excited for the opportunity.
All right, questions, please.
All right, thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Valencia King, KKVI. Rondo, I'll start with you. What are you excited about Dallas for being here? Let me rephrase it like that. Thank you.
Well, they're obviously a championship caliber team with the players they have on their roster. The style of play, you know, coach is just a guy that doesn't control much of the game. He lets their players make the plays. And you know, everybody's on the team is pretty intelligent from what I've seen and what I played against. And those guys play extremely hard. You know, they don't need much help putting the ball in the basket, but for me, that's my job, is to make guys easier out there on the court to play with.
Okay, Sneed with Mavericks.com. Rajon, when you look at this offense, they're already the leading scoring offense. How do you see yourself fitting in with that style of play?
Well, anywhere I go, I think I'm able to help guys make it easier for themselves offensively. Certain reads, whether it's getting the ball in my hands quicker, letting guys make plays. I know Monte's a great guy who makes plays himself, along with Chandler. And, you know, I think my job here will probably make Tyson's job a lot easier. Offensively, you know, going in, drawing 2, being able to play with athletic big, they can finish and run the floor as well. So I think I can help complete this team.
And a follow-up on that, also penetration-wise, defense, how much do you look forward to that on the defensive end, taking other guys out of the game when you look at the Western Conference point guards coming in?
Well, every night I'm going to have to bring it, you know, in the Eastern Conference, you know, it's not that I had many nights off, but it's night and day when you compare the East to the West point guards. And I think that's one reason why they brought me here, is to get some defensive stops, you know, check the best opposing guards on the floor, and that's my job, and I take full responsibility. I'm looking forward to it.
This question is for Coach Ro Parrish of 120 Sports. So this morning, heard you on the radio, you kind of made the comparison between Rondo and former point guard Jason Kidd. Could you speak on that a little bit more?
Well, there are definite similarities, but they're different players. Rajon's a different, you know, he's a different style. You know, Jason's career was a very long career. The similarities, I think, are that, you know, Jason kept developing his game into his late 20s and 30s. And he was a guy that was not known as a guy that was a very good shooter, but developed into a guy that was a consistent three-point shooter, and that was one of the things that defined his Hall of Fame career. Rajon is a younger guy at 28. I mean, he's one of the younger guys on our team now. You know,
The oldest guys are the younger.
there you go. That's how quickly things change in this league. But I see him as a guy who hasn't reached his ceiling as a player, as good as he's been. I talked to Brad Stevens about him. I've talked to Danny Ainge about him. Those guys are both good friends. They say this guy is a relentless worker and a winner and one of the best competitors they've been around. And so, you know, we're just thrilled to have him here. And one of the other things I think is really interesting about him and Jason Kidd, they're two of the most resourceful guys you're ever going to see in basketball. They just find ways to affect the game and help teams win. And so guys like that, you welcome into any situation.
Just as a follow-up, how much did the Celtic connection play with making this trade happen? Celtic connection with you and Danny Ainge from being back in the day, being former Celtics.
Well, I'm the coach. I don't get involved in the trades that much, but Donnie's relationship with Danny, they worked together when Danny was a head coach in Phoenix. They go back a long way. And so there's a familiarity there that certainly didn't hurt the process. But at the end of the day, we had to give up a lot, to get these guys. We had to give up 2 really good young players and a starting point guard along with some picks. But we felt it was more than worth it. And this is the kind of opportunity you don't get very often to trade for a guy of Rajon Rondo's caliber mid-season. It doesn't happen that often. And we like Dwight too.
Tim McMahon, ESPNDallas.com. Rajon, you obviously got used to contending on an annual basis for the first several years of your career. What was the challenge of the last couple of years, and how much does getting back to a team that has contender aspirations reinvigorate you?
It was very challenging these past couple of years for me in my career because each year you start training camp, all you talk about is winning a championship. But being realistic, the last 2 years is, our focus was just making the playoffs. And for me being a competitor, I feel like you put 4 guys out there that's going to play extremely hard. I feel like we can win any game. So this is how my mentor has been since I've been in the league. Fortunate enough to play with, future Hall of Famers and great teams and the coach for Doc Rivers. So to get back to that, situation, being able to play with future Hall of Famers, great coach, and a team that's ready to contend for a title, so I'm fired up and I'm ready to go.
And what do you think you have to prove coming in here?
I don't feel like I have to prove anything. I do what I do best on the court, do the intangibles, take responsibility, and run the show. That's what I've been doing my whole life. And I play with great guys. I play with Hall of Famers. So, I don't feel like this is too tall of a task for me. I want to compete. I want to win. And I've heard the guys, their energy in the locker room is the same thing, the same effect. Starts with the owner.
Sorry, one more real quick. Physically, do you feel like you're the same guy as you were before you hurt your knee?
I feel like I've gotten better. I've took the weight room a lot more serious now. I live, religiously every day, whether it's my lower body or my upper body. So I'm taking better care of my body. I'm listening to my body better, and I do feel like I'm getting back to where I used to be, if not better.
Dwayne Price, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Rondo, in 2008, you guys won the title. You had KG, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen at your disposal. Any similarities between those guys and this team here?
It's too much to say right now. It's too early to say. But I know I'm playing with a lot of great talent around me. Once again, I had a lot of great hard workers in Boston and a lot of young talent as well. But this group in particular, I think Monte is averaging like 20. Chandler Parsons around the same thing, and a guy obviously Dirk speaks for himself. So I'm playing with a lot of great talent. A lot of guys off the bench that's going to come in and contribute as well. So I'm just looking forward to making my teammates better and winning a title.
What is it about the defensive end of the court that turns you on?
It's what it's the dirty part. Dirty part of the game. It's what guys don't take pride in, and I take pride in defense. And with a guy like Tyson Chandler behind me, he's going to make me look a lot better than I probably have been in the past.
All right, here, Felix Lu from China.com, and have a question for Mr. Cuban. How does it feel to get Rondo like a superstar player? Like I know you try to get Dwight Howard and so on and so on.
You finally got Dwight, didn't you notice?
Yeah, sure. So how does it feel to get Rajon Rondo here?
Obviously, having him here is a huge step forward for us. He's a winner. He's a competitor. I talked to Michael Finley before we did the deal, who played with him in Boston, and he said he's got one of the highest basketball IQs and is an amazing competitor. I talked to Monte before we pulled the trigger, and he was like, dude plays hard, get him here. So, when you have, guys you play against or play with just speak so highly of you, and you have a championship pedigree, you can't have enough of those guys. And when an opportunity comes up to get somebody of this caliber, you got to do it. So we're excited to have them.
Eddie Sefko, Dallas News. Mark, what's your confidence level that this union with Rajon is going to be long-term, more than 5 months?
I mean, obviously, we wouldn't give up picks if we didn't think it was long-term. We're past the days of rent a player. We want him to be here a long time. I think, like with any of our guys that come in, we want to earn his desire to stay here. You know, we've got to convince him that he wants to be here, and because we know we'll want him. So, yeah, I mean, look, we're going to do everything possible to keep him here forever. He's the youngest guy on the team. You know, if he's not the definition of a cornerstone, I don't know what is. You know, and let me qualify that. And him side by side with Monte and Chandler, right? There's no one guy that could be the cornerstone of the team. And so, you know, having a good young nucleus that, you know, for us, it used to be 35 was a young nucleus, and to get that number down to 28, 29 is you know, something we want to keep together.
And Rajon, obviously, a lot of games to play this year. A lot of things have to happen first. But what's your thoughts on a long-term connection here?
I'm definitely excited. You know, I'm optimistic about the situation here, and you know, like Mr. Cuban was saying, you know, all right. Like Mark was saying, you know, to play alongside with a guy like Monte, and they just re-signed Chandler, so you know, the future seems bright, and I'm looking forward to just trying to win a championship as fast as possible, and hopefully we can keep this team together.
Andre Johnson, NBA Southwest Division reporter, MemphisSport.com. Rondo, obviously you come from a situation in Boston where the team was rebuilding. Now you're with the team that's a legitimate threat to win it all this year. What's so refreshing about that?
Every night, you know, like I said before, though, I did feel like I had a chance to win. You put 4 guys out there that's going to compete, but with this team in particular, you know, the league in scoring, every night you have a chance to win the game, and each obviously in the West, each game counts. So you definitely can't take any games for granted. But to be a contender right away, you know, it's one goal that you have in mind, and I'm dying to get a ring again. You know, I want another parade. You know, I was fortunate, Dwight and I were fortunate, you know, Mark was in New York and he picked us up today, and excited that we talked about it, you know, to want to get another parade.
Tim Cato, SB Nation. Rajon, what's your impressions of Monte Ellis, playing against him and seeing him around the league, and how do you think you fit into the backcourt with him?
He's tough. He's one of the toughest guys to stay in front of. He's very quick. He can create his own shot. He can create shots for his teammates. You know, he's definitely one of the best at drawing free throws and getting to the free throw line. So I'm not going to dominate the ball too much. You know, a guy like Monte needs the ball in his hand, and he can make plays for himself. So at times I'm going to have the ball. At times he's going to have the ball, and I have to learn how to play alongside Monte. And I'll pick up his game really fast. You know, I'm a pretty big believer in watching film. And I'll break down his game. I'll break down, you know, Dirk's game. I'll find out where guys like to have the ball and where they're most successful at.
Hey, Rajon, Michael Lark, MavsFanatic.com. You've been with the Celtics your entire career. Describe your emotions.
I got traded to the Celtics. But
well, being your first team, going to a completely different team, what was your initial reaction to hearing that you were being traded?
Well, it's been about 7 years now that I've been in trade rumors, and it's finally happened. But yesterday I was laying in bed, and my phone rang from Danny Ainge, and I pretty much knew I had the feeling that it was that time. So it was no hard feelings. You know, I could have been traded anywhere, and they traded me to a great organization, from ownership to the coach, you know, to how they treat the players here. And I've heard nothing but great things about the organization, from talking to Jay Terry to B. Bass, and I'm definitely excited to be here.
Skyler Dixon with the Associated Press. Rajon, can you reflect on your legacy in Boston, what you think it is?
Well, I believe it's a great legacy I left behind. I played extremely hard every night. I went out there and gave it all for my best for my organization and my fans, and I think it showed everywhere I went in the city. You know, the fans showed a lot of love. I can't remember one bad time I had in Boston as far as where I got negativity or feedback from a fan. You know, no matter if we, you know, the first year we lost 18 straight, or the following year we won a championship. You know, the fans there are probably the best fans I've ever played for, and I look forward to having the same type of treatment here in Dallas. So, you know, I have nothing but great things to say about Boston. I probably went to every restaurant and ate there in Boston. Met a lot of new friends. I have a lot of friends that I've developed in these past 9 years. So, you know, it's been a great city. It's been a great time in my life, and right now it's a new chapter, and it's time, to move on to the Mavericks.
Donnie, this deal, as the days led up to it, were you all getting the sense that you were maybe a piece short for being title contenders, or did you think you had a team before you did this that could do that?
Well, ever since I've been here, Mark's been all about championships, and there's no question that Rajon's a championship piece. We've been spoiled rotten in terms of point guards through the years with Steve Nash and Jason Kidd, and we understand here in Dallas how important quarterback play is, and to have a chance to get one of the top premier point guards in the league at the age of 28 with a championship ring and 4 All-Star appearances and is pretty unique and pretty special. And so we paid a high price, but it was well worth it. And the other thing that excites me is from a defensive standpoint, I know that's, Rick preaches that every single day in practice. Now we got two of the really key positions, point guard and obviously center. We've got, 2 very elite defenders, which is a nice statement as well.
Mark and Donnie, you guys have obviously been searching for a point guard since J. Kidd left and had a lot of success with him. Can you reflect on how Rondo reminds you guys of Kidd and kind of the similarities in their game and in the situation as far as arriving here, midseason trade?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar in that both like to defend, both defend much larger than their height, both are great rebounders, great playmakers. I think they both are coming from situations where it wasn't, what they had hoped for. J. Kidd, was leaving New Jersey, and it's tough. It was tough for him because he was such an incredible competitor. And I think Rajon was in the same situation. When you taste a championship, you want more. And when you're not in that circumstance, it can be deflating at times. But Rajon rose above it and competed every night. But I think great players are better with great players around them. And I think, as Coach mentioned, the best is yet to come.
The only thing I'll add to that is they both have about the same size heart. I mean, when it comes down to winning big games and playoff games, that's where the men are separated from the boys. And these guys are winners in every sense of the word, and they've got the ring to prove it, and hopefully another one coming.
And Rajon, real quick, do you see similarities with you and J. Kidd, and can you take anything from his time with the Mavericks and kind of use that as something to emulate?
I do see similarities. I think J. Kidd is a good friend of mine. I've talked to J. Kidd in the past. Being a young guy, and a lot of people have always compared us since day one. Danny always talked to me about how he coached J. Kidd in Nash and Phoenix back in the day, and some of the similarities that we had together. And what Mr. Nelson said as far as heart, J. Kidd was a competitor. He wanted to win. He did a lot of intangibles on the court to make his teammates and his team win the game. So I would say I can compare to that. Like I said, I just love to compete. I love to win. We joked about me being the second leading rebounder on the team coming in to the Mavericks. So, yeah. So, J. Kidd was a great rebounder. Obviously he's great at getting those triple doubles, and I've been fortunate enough to make a couple of them myself. So it's just a very exciting year for me. New start mid-season, but I'm ready to get after it and learn and try to catch up as quick as possible.
You're significantly smaller than J. Kidd, 3 or 4 inches. What makes you such a good rebounder at your size?
Just God-given ability, just having a knack for the ball. The way the ball is going to come off the rim, I think I have a great eye for it, how to time it. How to, if the ball spins a certain way, I can pretty much get to where the ball is going to land, or my jumping ability, the timing, where I can get to the ball, the height of the ball, where the rebounds comes off. I'm able to get there. And then obviously with the past couple of years, I got to give my bigs a lot of credit. They box out the guys, and I jump over their back sometimes. And then the long rebounds, the three-point shots I made, they're out. Balls are bouncing out at the elbows, and I try to pick those up as well.
Bobby Carello with Mavs.com. Rajon, what are your thoughts on Dirk, and how do you see that partnership playing out?
I'm excited to play with Dirk. He still has a lot of left in his tank, and he's if not the best power forward shooting big in the game still. And that makes my job a lot easier. Guys aren't able to show as much. I know we had problems showing off of Derek, and he creates problems within himself offensively for the defensive end of the floor because of his shooting and his touch.
And then Dwight, what do you think that you can learn from Dirk and also Tyson Chandler?
I think there's a lot I can learn from both of those players on both ends of the court, in the locker room and on the court. So I'm looking forward to spending time with those guys and just trying to pick up as much as I can because they obviously have a almost endless wealth of knowledge compared to me right now. So I'm excited.
Rondo, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the rivalry between the Spurs and the Mavericks. Will you be in the lineup tomorrow, and are you ready for this?
Yeah, that's why I was delayed. I had like a 2.5 hour physical, so I'll be ready. I passed it, so I'll be ready to go tomorrow.
On that note, what are you going to do to try to get caught up on the system? And Rick, how much are you going to work extra time with him to try to get him ready to go quickly?
Well, we're going to try to spend a little time tonight with these guys, and then tomorrow morning, and then on the assumption that all the physical's clear, Rajon will be in the starting lineup tomorrow night, and we got to get him out there, and we got to get going.
214-747 match for tickets.
I don't think there'll be a problem with tomorrow.
Got a few left. That's always. Dwight, you know what? Dwight, describe your game to everyone. People don't really know your style of play and what your game's all about. So give them.
I think I'm athletic. I can shoot the ball. Take pride in my defense. So try to guard multiple positions, rebound the ball. But most of all, just work hard and bring effort to every possession.
I gave you a setup to just brag.
But I mean, in the position I'm at right now, having been traded a couple times and landing here, I'm really looking forward to the opportunity. But I also want to work as hard as I can to stay here and show my value, show my worth, and contribute to this team that's already great.
He can shoot threes. He can rebound. He can defend. He can use stretch 4 in a lot of respects, stretch 5 in a lot of respects. He can shoot the ball, right? And so that's why he's here. That's why we wanted him. The guy can really get out there and knock it down. Give you a chance to don't give me basketball speak.
Questions, you guys?
Eddie.
Yeah, Rick, I'm just wondering, what's your challenge to throw this thing together in a hasty manner to make sure things mesh as fast as possible?
Simplicity, making it about simple things and competition, and Rajon's a great competitor. This is the first time he's been traded during the season, but he knows the game. He knows what's going on. It'd be my job to keep it simple for him and the other guys, and we just got to get ready to compete. Tomorrow's is as much about competing as it is in X's and O's.
Last one right here.
Rondo, this is a two-part question. Want to ask you, now you mentioned that you talked to Danny Ainge, and of course you knew what to expect when you got that call. What was that conversation like, and also what kind of reception do you expect to get tomorrow?
Well, that's the second part. Hopefully, I plan on getting a great reception tomorrow. And Mark is snapping that, so I'm excited about that. I'll be looking forward to tomorrow's night, my name being called in the starting lineup. And Danny and I had a in-depth conversation. We talked for about 45 minutes. Danny and I have been close these last 9 years, and he's always been straightforward with me. And it's just a pretty good conversation. I have a lot of respect for Danny, and obviously he feels the same way about me, and we just parted ways. No, I didn't tear up. He blinked a bunch of times, but I didn't. I didn't cry.
Thank you very much. You guys stay here. We're gonna
Picture. Stand up so you can cheer.
all you guys.
Yeah.
Where do you put stuff?